We've been camping in England for a little while now, and we're really starting to notice the shift in the seasons from summer to autumn. There's a real breeze in the air, and it's getting colder, and the leaves are turning brown, and we're just dreading it, to be honest, because we've spent a few winters in the van in England, and they've been absolutely awful, just so rainy and drizzly and freezing, and we really just want to spend less time in the UK this winter. So we've decided to leave. We're going to go to Spain and try and long out the summer for as long as we can. Sometimes when the seasons come to an end, there's a little panic voice that sets in and says, have you done it all? Have you made the most of this season? And for me, when summer's coming to an end, that voice is always saying, have you done enough wild swimming? Because that's the thing I love the most about the warmer months. And so even though it was probably too cold to get in the water, I decided to just embrace one last dip of the year. Our little rescue dog Luffy absolutely hates it when I get in the water though. She has this immense phobia of water, and so when I eventually come back out onto dry land, she is so excited and so happy. She's so tiny that she can't quite jump onto the bed herself, so we have to help her up. But she'll be so pleased now that we're back inside the comfort of the van, getting nice and dry, and just in time as well because it actually just started to rain. After a little while of just relaxing and listening to the pitter-patter of rain on the roof of our van, it was time to do some work. The way that we earn money on the road is that I paint these designs based on the nature that we see on our travels, and then we have those woven into these tapestry kind of blanket / wall hanging things. So today I'm just picking out the colour samples for the weavers to weave the blankets with. The tapestries tend to sell out pretty fast, which is very nice and easy for us. Most of our customers are people who follow us on Instagram, and it's more than enough money to cover our expenses of travelling. I mean, van life is pretty cheap anyway, to be honest. It's way cheaper than renting, at least for us. And it's just so nice to be able to earn all of our expenses for the year from doing something that we actually enjoy. And I never thought I would be able to make that work as a creative. I think we're always told that you'll struggle as an artist to make a living. But thankfully that's not true, and we're earning enough to actually start putting a little bit aside as well, saving up towards our dream cabin one day where we can have a garden and we can start a family. In England, we have a lot of these pink flowers called Himalayan balsam, and they start to go to seed around the same time that the blackberries finish. And that's when you know that the cold days are coming. So we decided we need to start heading south, and we've booked our ferry to leave England. So we're going to get up nice and early tomorrow and drive towards the border.
Luffy insists on sitting like this whenever we're on a drive with her chin nestled into my elbow. She won't sit anywhere else really. We've made it all the way down to Dover, which is at the bottom of England, and we catch a ferry over to Calais, which is at the top of France. It takes about an hour and a half to cross over and costs around £130, which isn't too bad to be honest. We do have to leave little Luffy below deck in the van, all by herself because we can't be in there with her, but we think she's fine. We think all she does is sleep, but who knows, she might be having a party. I guess we'll find out once we arrive and can go back and see her. We're aiming to get near to Barcelona, to the Catalonia region of Spain, which is in the northeast of the country, but it's quite a way away from the very top of France. It's about 16 or 17 hours of driving, but we are going to stop along the way, and I don't know if it's in our heads, but it definitely already feels warmer over here. It would probably be quicker if we took the toll roads, but we find that not taking the toll roads is cheaper actually, and we much prefer taking things at our own pace and driving through all the quaint French villages along the way. We love a long drive, to be honest with you. Like, we love listening to audiobooks and podcasts, and even if we get tired, we just stick on a bit of ABBA and have a nice big sing-along. We parked up late last night, somewhere in the middle of France. We didn't quite make it to Spain, but we're hoping to get there by tomorrow. And it's always a little bit weird parking up in the dark somewhere that you don't know, especially in a forest. But when we woke up this morning and looked out the windows, we were really happy to see all the trees around us and the beautiful autumnal colours. So we're just going to get ourselves dressed and take Luffy out on a nice morning walk. Everyone has their favourite landscape, whether that's like a river or being on a beach, but for us it's stepping into a forest. Like, there's just something about it that soothes our souls. It just makes us feel like this is exactly where we're meant to be, and our nervous systems are just completely relaxed, and we could spend the whole day just wandering around.
So we're just out on our morning walk and we noticed that there are loads and loads of chestnuts out on the floor. So we're going to go foraging for them, and we thought we might as well show you how to as well, in case you'd like to try it. We definitely recommend. It's very, very beginner friendly. This is the tree that you were looking for. So it's got these kind of serrated edges and these huge big old leaves that are almost a bit metallic and silvery on the underside. So these are their little babies down here on the floor. Honestly, they look kind of like sea urchins except lime green. They're very, very spiky and difficult to touch. And inside they look like this. So this is your sweet chestnut. It's got a really iconic kind of teardrop shape. and it's got this white tip at the top here and these little hairs poking out of the top. Now there is a kind of semi-poisonous lookalike called the horse chestnut. You might know it as the conker, but it's really easily distinguishable because it's kind of rounded. It does not have a teardrop shape at all. It doesn't have the white tip and it doesn't have the hairs. So it's nice and easy to tell the difference. You might find tiny little thin chestnuts sometimes. Just get rid of those because they're not going to have enough flesh to cook. And also make sure that your chestnuts don't have any insect holes in them and that they aren't too soft to touch. If they are, they're not going to be any good to cook.
We're back at the van now and we're going to cook up some of these chestnuts for lunch. We need to remove these outer shells first before we can eat them, and to do this you have to heat them up. This is why most people roast chestnuts in an oven, but we don't have an oven in the van, so instead we're just going to use a saucepan and heat them up that way. It's really important before you heat them up to score like an X on the rounded side of the shell, just so that some of the air can escape whilst they're cooking. Otherwise they're going to explode and that's going to create a really nasty mess. And then once they're heated up, the shells are going to be a lot softer and you can remove them a lot easier. So just boil your chestnuts in some water for about 10 minutes. You will find once you remove them from the water that the outer shells are going to be a lot softer and they'll even start like unfurling themselves, but you'll probably still have to get your hands in there to remove the shells. We definitely say keep all your chestnuts in the hot water and remove the shells one by one because they can cool down really quickly and then that outer shell hardens, making it a lot harder to remove. So all our chestnuts are cooked and peeled. We've got all the skins here. It took quite a while to get them all off. And these are ready to eat as they are if you want, but we're going to add some flavour and some other ingredients to it. You can do all sorts with chestnuts really, but for lunch today we are going for a hearty stew with some potatoes, garlic, onions, cabbage, and it's just going to be really soothing and really tasty. As we carried on driving further south, it started to feel more and more Mediterranean. All the buildings started to change, and just as the sun was setting, we crossed over into Spain. We found ourselves a parking spot for the night right on the coast, and we took ourselves out on a wander just to get familiar with the surroundings. We came across loads of rosemary bushes and tall pine trees, and those smells mixed with the sea air just made for the most beautiful scent. We can't wait for a lovely day on the beach tomorrow. It's our first morning in Spain, and it's really lovely and slow in this part of the world.
Yeah, we are usually mountain people, as you might have noticed, but today we're right by the Mediterranean Ocean, so we thought it'd be a crime to not just go and spend a day by the sea, like a little lazy day on the beach, really.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally a 5-minute walk away from this beautiful, beautiful cove. So we're going to head there, and then maybe tomorrow we'll start making our way towards the Pyrenees Mountains.
Yeah. We packed ourselves a sandwich and all the other things that we'd need for a relaxing day on the beach. We took our journals and a picnic mat and also a frisbee because we quite fancied a fun little game. This first beach that we found was really nice, but a little bit pebbly and stony and a little bit too public. But we found this hole in a cave, so we decided to climb through in hopes of finding something a little sandier and a bit more secret and hidden too. By driving all the way south down to Spain, it almost feels like we've travelled back in time, back through the seasons, back into summer. It is quite overcast here, but it's still pretty warm. The temperature is about 25 degrees Celsius, and the water is really, really warm. It almost feels like stepping into a bath. I think having warmed up all summer from the heat of the sun, it's just become so nice and soothing. And there I was back in England thinking that I'd had my last wild swim of the year, but I'll definitely be getting in the water later today for one more swim. It's a really popular thing among vanlifers to follow the sun and sort of avoid the winter months, and I don't know why we've never tried this before. It does really feel like such a relief to know that we'll be holding on to the warmer days for just a little while longer.
We're back home now and we're going to cook up one of our go-to meals for dinner tonight. So we've got some gnocchi here that we've already cooked, and we're just going to top it with some raw garlic, lemon, pesto and some beans.
Thank you so much for watching this vlog. We're really excited to share the next episode with you. We're going to be doing more adventures in Spain and parking our little cabin on wheels out here on the wild side.